A student is interested in knowledge acquisition. A learner is interested in knowledge application. And this is something interesting. A student is someone who is always ready to take notes. They come to the class prepared to take notes. They're prepared to perceive new information that is supposed to come from their teacher. If there hasn't been any new information during the class, they see this class as a waste of time. They haven't learned anything, meaning they haven't learned anything new. A learner makes notes. What's the difference between taking notes and making notes? When you take notes, you want to write down what you hear. Basically, you want to recreate what you have just heard on a piece of paper. You write down exactly the things that are being said so that you can remember them better. And this is a very, very useful skill. So few people can actually do this in a foreign language. And not a lot of people can do it in their first language effectively, I should say, too. And the purpose of taking notes is not really to create a copy of what was said. The purpose of taking notes is to take notes with your hand, not with your thumb, so that you can give yourself a chance to process this information effectively and to understand what was important here. Because you take notes of what's important. And making notes is a slightly different skill. When you make notes, you write down what you understand. You make sense of the information that you have received, and you write down your interpretation. You write down what you have understood for yourself. The things that you're going to write down may be very different from the things that you heard, from the things that were said. Because you write down the conclusion. You write down what this information means to you. That's different. And a learner is interested in developing this skill and this skill. And a student is primarily interested in this skill because they want a copy of what they have heard. But the most interesting thing here is that a student, in 90% of the cases, never, ever opens their notes. And they don't have the skill of working with their notes. Someone who has completed a course, somebody who has been a very diligent student, somebody who has done all the homework, will probably have a pile of notes, and every time they bring home pages and pages of notes, but as soon as the course is over, these notes are piled somewhere on their desk, and they never look at them. They never work with them. A learner knows how to work with their own notes. They use them, they reuse them, they reread them, because they understand that the things that they're writing down when they're making notes is the information for their future self. It's something that they understand today, but it doesn't mean that they can apply it. It's probably something new that they have just realized, just understood, and it's very important to write it down before they forget, so that they can remind themselves in the future of the things that were important here to understand, so that their future self can apply this precious information and learn better and live better in the future too. That's a very important difference. If you want to become a better learner, practice both and practice making notes. If people have at least some experience here, I assume many people went to college. And if you went to college, you were supposed to, you had to take a lot of notes when you listened to your professors. People have some experience here. And a lot of people have zero experience here when it comes to making notes and making sense of information. A student wants to copy information. A learner wants to make sense of information. That's the key difference.